And there is fury today among Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans over Congress's failure to pass suicide prevention aid for those with PTSD, despite bipartisan support in both houses. There is one leading opponent, though, Senator Tom Coburn. Joining me now from New York is Paul Reichoff, founder and CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. And from Capitol Hill, I'm joined by West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who's one of the senators who introduced the bill. Thank you both so much. And we're following up really on Rachel Maddow's terrific reporting last night on all of this. Paul, first to you on how veterans feel about this bill, which had passed the House and has support in the Senate, going nowhere.
They are stunned and outraged nationwide from every background. This is why people hate Washington. One lone radical senator has decided not just to vote against this bill, but to block it. We had unanimous support for the Clay Hunt SAVE Act in the House. We've got pretty much universal support in the Senate. And Senator Coburn, as one of his last acts in the Senate, instead of voting against it, has vowed to block it. And that's what he did last night on the floor, and we think it's shameful. It's a smack in the face of all veterans when we're in the midst of some very serious suicide problems. We lose 22 veterans a day, and this senator, Senator Coburn, stood in the way of real progress, historic legislation. He didn't attend hearings. He wasn't involved in oversight regarding the VA. In this last 11th hour, he made a rambling statement against this bill and really killed it, which is unfortunate and I think shameful.
Well, let me play a little bit of that for you, Paul, and for, of course, Senator Manchin, and then ask your reaction to it. This is Senator Coburn last night on the Senate floor.
As a physician, I know suicide all too well. I have failed patients in the past doing everything I knew to do. I've treated patients with the demons that these young men and women have when they come back from war. My heart breaks for the people who commit suicide. You know what it is? They find no relief anywhere else except death.
Senator Manchin, is there any saving this?
We're working on it. You know, I'm disappointed. I know, Paul, my heart bleeds to all of you all. This is a high priority for us. I've asked to be on the Veterans Committee. I will be on the Veterans Committee starting. If for some reason we can't work this out today, I can assure you we'll come back immediately in the next Congress, the 114th, and that'll be our first priority. But you know what's really ironic about this whole thing? Some people talk about because of the funding, you didn't have an offset, $22 million. You got to set your priorities where your values are. When we ask people to defend our country and come back knowing they need help, and we don't have the help available, and we see, we just passed an omnibus bill, Andrea, and that omnibus bill that I voted against had $5 billion for military defense for products they didn't want or didn't need. $5 billion, and we can't find $22 million to help our service people coming back that needs help to transition back into civil life and civilian life. It's just wrong. So I just respectfully disagree with my colleague, and we're going to do all we can today, Paul, and I hope we can do it and resurrect it. If not, I'll assure you we'll come back immediately.
Well, Senator Manchin, is there anything that can be done today? Tell me what the schedule is,
well, basically,
and whether or not there's a way to get him to remove his objections.
Well, we're going to talk. We're talking on that, and we're hoping that I've got to call into Tom Coburn. I know Tom well, and he's really a good man. He's really been fiscally conservative on all these issues. He wants to make sure that we get our financial house in order. But I've always said you set your priorities based on your values. There's an awful lot of waste all through government. This is a need that we have, and we all recognize this need. And I'll assure you, we can offset and find that money that it takes to pay for this, so it's just not added to the debt of this nation. But my goodness, the importance of this is unbelievable. We just said that we have 22 a day deaths as far as our military. We have over 8,000 a year in just veterans. We have almost 300 a year in those who have served. Since 2008, 300 suicides a year that have served over in the Middle East. So this is of an epidemic proportion. We have got to get a hold of this and got to start we have to start helping our military people returning back to civilian life.
And Senator, what would the money, the $22 million, have accomplished?
Basically what it does, it allows us to expand in the VA, the psychiatrists. We don't have enough psychiatrists. We know that. They don't have the people to do the job. I don't know about the redundancy. I don't see the redundancy when you have such few people that can give the members and the military the help they need. And this is just not something as they transition out. Sometimes they need long-term care. They have to have someone, a support staff they can go back to. So we know that also. We've just got to do it and commit ourselves to giving the service people basically the care they need, and not just for a few months when they return. If it takes a year, 2, 5 years, whatever it takes, we're going to keep them healthy for the service they've given to our country.
And Paul, what are you and your members, first of all, what are you hearing from the community, and what are you doing today to try to put some more pressure on the Senate?
We're doing what we always do, Andrea. We're fighting on. We're not going to let this stop us. If folks are watching right now, check out the hashtag Clay Hunt. Clay Hunt is the Marine sniper who this bill is named after. We are fighting on in his memory to ensure other vets like Clay Hunt are not lost. Clay Hunt's family has testified. There's a video from Clay Hunt's father, himself, a conservative Republican from Texas, appealing to Senator Coburn to drop this ridiculous block. He's not just standing in the way of the veterans community. He's standing in the way of the will of the American people. This is a ridiculous stand, and if he doesn't back down, this will be his legacy. This will be Senator Coburn's lasting legacy. His last move was to stop a suicide prevention bill for veterans. And I hope that everyone watching calls his office, go to his office. Veterans are outraged, and we're not going to back down. And if he does block this, we're going to keep fighting on, because we know this fight is going to be long. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but our friends deserve it, and the American people deserve it. This is ridiculous.
Paul Rieckhoff, thank you so much. Joe Manchin, thank you.
Thank you,
I know
Andrea.
my
We commit to
colleague,
getting it done. We will commit to getting it done.
I know my colleague Rachel Maddow is going to stay on this as well.
Thanks,
Thank you
Andrea.
both so much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.